Hey guys, no, I haven't made a video in a while. It's April 4th in New Hampshire. Yeah, it's snowing. We've got like 3 inches so far. We're supposed to be getting about a foot. There's the truck that I was working on. It's pretty much done. A few kinks I got to work out. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I'll show you behind that backhoe, there's a 93 Prado. Land Cruiser Prado that I'm building I'll just show you right now. It's a customer's Land Cruiser Prado, diesel, turbo diesel. He bought tracks for this thing, so it's gonna be pretty wild. My job, he wants me to add some rock sliders, same as mine, with out of DOM steel. And what he wanted me to do, I'm not done with this yet, but we are building a cage for it. 1 3/4 DOM. It's coming out nice. A lot of freaking work, man. So much work, so much cutting. But it's coming out pretty good. I really need to add some cross bracing here, and maybe the bar for the harnesses. But he still wants people to be able to get in the back, and there is no room in these old Toyotas. Oh yeah, here's the rock sliders. Pretty good, pretty nice. These are Trail Gear. They're really good quality, very well made. But yeah, this is gonna be fun to finish weld. Video today, actually, I wanted to show you guys what my shop looks like. This isn't a showroom. I haven't cleaned it in a while. I try to keep it as clean as possible, but I mean, I work out of this thing. I build stuff. I do construction. So a lot of times I'm in here grabbing stuff and I just, I don't clean up like my skill saw. So anyways, yeah, so it's a small shop. And I just want to show you some of the stuff that I've done here to make my life a little easier. Eventually, hopefully by next year, I'm going to be actually tearing this garage down, and I'm going to be building a 40-foot deep by 60-foot wide metal structure, but I'm going to be doing a container, high cube, 40-foot container on this side, high cube on this side, and then 40 feet by 40 feet in between. So the total width is going to be 60, but the inside part's going to be 40 by 40. Right now, this is 20 by 20, so it's going to be quite a bit more space. So with that said, I try to make as much use out of all the space as possible. So starting here, Harbor Freight toolbox. These things are awesome. They don't break the bank, and I've had this thing now for 8 years, and I've had no issues with it. I got quite a bit of weight in this drawer. All my hammers and heavy things are in here, and this thing still works fine. You have to be careful about how much money you spend, right? You don't want to spend a lot of money on different things for a garage, especially if they're going to get beat on. So Home Depot was having a sale. They were blowing these cabinets out. I picked up these cabinets, $35 a piece, and I was able to, basically, they're just kitchen cabinets from Home Depot. I've had these up pretty much the same amount of time I've had this, and they've been good. I actually kept the plastic on them. There's a plastic protector. I didn't take that off, so every so often I take some Grease Lightning and just a pad, something that's non-abrasive, and I clean them up because they get dusty, they get gross. I do painting in here, I do metal work, but you open it up, you got all your cleaning supplies in this one, which I gotta clean up because I got a lot of useless stuff in here. This one, just pesticides and stuff for the yard, just random stuff, all my chargers, jump packs. Oh, this jump pack, pretty damn cool for the money. It's a good jump pack. And then of course the Noco charger. This thing's pretty cool too. Very light, very small, does the job. It also has I'll put that away later. It has a 12-volt supply, so if you're like diagnosing stuff on your car, you just use that without a battery, and you could just diagnose, work on your electrical. This one over here, I have a bunch of drill bits. All my drill bits and hole saws are right here because my tabletop press is right here. So It's convenient to have it there. Works out pretty well. If you're using stuff, you just put it right here. Every shop should have one of these. I mean, you can get a legitimate one for pretty expensive, but all this is a metal cabinet, and I use it for chemicals. All my paint supplies, you know, mineral spirits, acetone, you know, it's a flammable cabinet. So all my flammable stuff goes in here. It's pretty protected. I've never had any issues. I had this at my previous house. I mean, I've had this thing for like 20 years. Haven't had any problems. Keeps everything protected. Moving over here, I just got a bunch of lubricants in there, oils, electrical in there. Of course, I've been working on that cage, so I have a ton of pieces left over from notching. I gotta clean everything up. Tabletop vise. I bought this years ago from a yard sale, and it's been amazing. I don't know what brand it is. Maybe if I sandblast this thing, I'll be able to see something. But I mean, it's pretty damn cool. It turns. It allows me to put pipe in here, and it's got a regular vise. And of course, these are removable, so I can change these out, put like plastic or something, so I don't damage what I'm working on. But yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Moving on. This cabinet just has a bunch of random stuff. Sometimes I have brake clean in here, my WD-40, wood glue, pipe dope, my thread locker's in here. Just a bunch of random fluids, random things that I need. Klingspor, they make good sanding products. Yeah, grease, plastic dip, and all my literature for all my equipment. Anything I've ever bought, basically, I just put it right there. This cabinet, I have my spray equipment. So this was my first gun. It's a DeVilbiss starting line. Did all right, did pretty good, but this broke, the cap broke, and they don't make a cap for it anymore. So I was forced to buy, where is it? One of these guys, Kiwami 4. This thing sprays amazing for the price. It was like under $400, and it's a really, really good gun. I really like it. I just need to get a bigger tip if I decide to spray primer out of it, like a high build primer, but I mean, I haven't had any problems with base and clear. So yeah, the Kiwami 4 from Iwata. Good gun. Moving on. I put just random boxes of tools in here. All kinds of things that just don't fit in the toolbox. Eventually I'll grow the toolbox, but for now this is perfect. This does what I needed to do. Just tools that I don't really use that often. This over here, it's all electrical. So I got a bunch of electrical tools in here. My multimeter, this bin. I believe it's an old first aid kit, but I use it to put like soldering equipment in here. So it's pretty neat. It works. Yeah, that's that. Over here is just all my welding, just spare welding equipment, spools and tips and stuff for my my plasma cutter. You know, stuff like that. Over here is just a random hardware. So I was watching a video with, oh God, what was his name? Mythbusters. Adam Savage from Mythbusters. He made something similar to this. If you want, go over to his page and check it out. It's pretty damn cool. But, I mean, that guy's got a ton of money. What he did is he built these, but singles. So he didn't double them up like I did. So there's two, mine has two containers. His has, you know, a piece of wood going this way, and it's separated. The containers he bought were like $80 a piece. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I have, you know, there's 13 per row, and I got 4 rows here. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on bins. It doesn't make any sense. So what I did, I went to Home Depot, $17 for 2 of these. Then I bought the plywood, and then I bought the sliders off of Home Depot. Each one cost $500 with all the bins in place. Obviously not loaded, but with all the bins out the door, this whole thing was $1,000, and it saved me a ton of money and a ton of time when I'm looking for stuff. Before, I would use, for example, I would use one of these containers for all of my M6 bolts. And every time I wanted a nut, I would have to dump this entire thing on the ground just to find a nut. And it was just a mess. It made a mess. It was a pain in the ass. Now, I have everything labeled. Everything on these things is labeled. So, oh, look, I need an M6. Another good thing about this is I don't need to take the bin and put it on another flat surface or put it over there in order for me to get something out of it. This whole thing slides out, and I'm able to leave this on here, saving me a ton of shop space. Because if you're doing a project, you need to get to like 6 or 7 of these. Where do you put them? You just keep stacking them. They're open. Things, you drop stuff. It makes a mess. So what's awesome about this is you could be working on a car, like over here or whatever. Oh, I need M6 bolts. Boom. You open it, and I've assorted it from small to large. And then I got nuts. So it's pretty, it's actually very, very convenient. Very convenient. I got, stainless steel stuff. If I open this up, all my stainless steel M6. Washers, nuts, bolts, all different sizes. So it's very, very, very convenient. Very convenient. Before, I had all this stuff in like containers like that over here on this wall, and then I had a bunch of stuff stored in there, so it cleaned up a lot of this space. I got rid of the thing that was back there, so it makes your life a lot easier. Oetiker clamps. I have so many of these things, and it makes jobs look OEM, which is key. These little guys. You see, they're like PEX clamps for plumbing, but they're called Oetiker clamps, and you can use them on all kinds of different hoses, fuel lines, coolant lines, all kinds of different things for cars, and they look very, very clean. So, moving on. You can't really work in a garage and expect to have a good product without one of those. If it's 20 degrees in your garage, you're not putting out a good product. You're rushing. So it's key to have a decent heating system. When I picked that up, it was like $400. I spent maybe another $200 on gas line, maybe another $100 on exhaust. I did all the work myself. If you're a homeowner, you own your own house, you're allowed to do your own gas work. So, it has to still be inspected. But, you just do it yourself, save a ton of money. Under $1,000, you call your propane company. I have propane out here, so I called them up. They came out, they set the tank. Inspector came out, and boom, I have heat. When I'm not in the garage, I keep it at 45, 50 degrees, just my products don't freeze. When I'm working, I crank it to 60, and it's perfect. So it's pretty economical, doesn't use up a lot of gas. Especially if you're painting. If you're painting, you need to have one of these. I turn it on the morning that I'm going to paint something. I let everything warm up nice and warm. And then, 6 hours later, I'll come in here when it's like 65, 70, 75 degrees, depending on what I'm using for a product. And it's perfect. It does the job. This thing is one of my favorite things I ever built. I kept trying to find carts, welding carts, and they were all garbage. They were all junk. So what I did is I made one. I'm like, well, why am I going to buy a cart? I'm a fabricator. I could just make one. So what I did is I just used, I don't know what this was, 3/8, half-inch stock. Pretty cheap stuff. Angle iron here. Prime Weld. They make a pretty damn good product. I'm very happy with my TIG welder. I'm very happy with the MIG. And then that, the Cut 50, I believe I bought that off of Amazon. It was like $200 for a plasma cutter. And it's awesome. I upgraded the gun, and it does a pretty damn good job. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Another thing that I did, I didn't want, I got tired of, so I need to use all 3 of these machines sometimes, or at least 2 of these machines all the time. And what I had to do is, I have an extension cord over there, 220, that I pull out, and every time I needed to cut something, I would have to unplug a welder, plug that in, or I had to, whatever. It was a lot of work. So what I did, since I'm the only one working on stuff in here, I'm not using 2 of these pieces of equipment at the same time, ever. So what I did is I plugged in everything into here. And then I ran 1 pigtail here. So now I plug this in to my cord and everything gets powered up. Of course, I keep things off if I don't need them. From the back, there's switches here. But if I need to cut something and I need to MIG it right after, I'm not losing time plugging one in and unplugging the other one. It's a pain in the ass. So I keep it like that. If you want to run all 3 pieces of equipment all at the same time, you can do it because there's no load. The only time you're loading up a circuit is if you're using, your plasma cutter and it's set to 50 and you're using all the amps. Somebody can't come and use that while I'm doing that. But I'm here alone. Nobody's ever doing that. So it works out perfect. And then obviously I have my 2 tanks, one for the TIG, one for the MIG, and then the plasma takes shop air. This thing I just bought. This thing's pretty damn cool. This is the Pro Tools Bender. It's pretty good. It's a pretty cool tool. It's expensive, but I mean for what it does, it's it's pretty cool. It goes up to I think 1 3. I want to say it goes up to 2 inch. I have 1 3/4 now for a die, but you can do all kinds of cool stuff, cages and all kinds of work. This is my sanding cabinet, so everything that I need for sanding a car or polishing. So all my polishing stuff, paper, more polishing stuff here. Mask, obviously, you got to have your mask. You have to have protection goggles and masks always for grinding, cutting, painting, whatever you're doing. Protect yourself. Use gloves, use eye goggles, use a mask. Actually, when you're grinding and cutting, you should be using a face shield because, man, when these things break, yeah, you don't want that going into your cheek. So, yeah. Some old turbos off a 300ZX. I still have it, but those turbos are junk. Well, that's about it. This is just all parts for all my all the cars that I'm doing. This is parts for the truck, paint gun for work. This I haven't shown you guys yet, but this is it's an N54 E30, which I'm working on. That I obviously am using as a shelf right now. But I haven't, I got plans to finish this for the summer, so that's for a customer. Oh, I just picked up a metal can. I used to just throw towels around everywhere. And if you're there grinding and your towels are there, that's a recipe for disaster. So what I did is I picked up a metal trash can for the garage where all my shop towels can go into. So, yeah, I mean, the whole thing, if you're making fire in here, you have to keep flammables away from your grinding and your welding and whatever you're doing. Another thing, for small shops, you need to be able to move cars around easily, especially ones that don't run. These casters here, these things, these wheel dollies, these are awesome. I picked these up years ago from Harbor Freight, and they work great because when I'm ready to work on the car, I can just wheel it this way, literally with one hand, and work on it. If I need to work on the front, I can push it as far back as possible and get all the room I need in the front. Or vice versa, if I'm working in the back, I can push this car all the way forward and just work on the back of the car. So it's pretty cool. These things I got off of Amazon to be able to hang your jack stands. These work great. They save a lot of room. I haven't been able to find any for the large ones. I got some large ones here. I'll probably just make something. because they're on the ground. I want to keep stuff off the ground so I can wash and clean and do what I have to do. But these, if anybody hasn't seen them, they work great. You just hang your jack stands here. They're out of the way, and they work pretty good. And then this is my metal corner. So any metal that I have, I mean, it's pretty hacked, but it works. And it keeps all my metal in one area off the ground. And then I have bins with just random cutoffs. But that works pretty good. It's nice and tidy. Just keeps everything in one area and protected so it doesn't fall over. That's about it. Show you guys one more thing. Here's the truck. What I'm working on now. So I reupholstered the sides here. I did some speakers. Decent little sound system. This is garbage. Boss Audio, don't do it. Spend the extra money on the Alpine or the Pioneer. Those things are just trash. I absolutely hate it. If anybody wants details on why I hate it, or anything else in this video that you want detailed video on, let me know. I'm working on this next. Yep, it's another jump pack. This thing's coming out pretty cool. I think I'm going to make it a little smaller though, because it's kind of in the way of my shifting. My hand hits right here, so I got to change that up. And the aux beam controller, perfect little slot for it. It's connected, and the wire goes up into the engine bay. But this is all going to get wrapped. That's why it's loose, because the fabric needs to come in, so you need to have extra space here. But yeah, it's coming out nice. These I bought off of Amazon for $280, and they're awesome. I wouldn't do something like this if you're racing your car. If you're going to be speeding in your car, going on the highway a lot, pick up something that is safer than these. What was here before was literally a piece of cloth on top of foam, on top of like thin metal. So yeah, these are probably a little safer than what I had, the stupid bench seat. But I wouldn't put these, say, on a sports car. These are perfect for the woods, though, to keep you in place. You know, I'm not planning on putting any harnesses, although they do have slots for harnesses. I don't know if they're in the right position for harnesses, but, I mean, they look great. The material is nice and thick. The stitching is good. I haven't had any problem. I'm always sliding on this to get out, and I haven't had any problems with these. $280 on Amazon. Pretty freaking amazing for both of them, not just for one. That's pretty neat. But yeah, I wouldn't put these in. There we go. I wouldn't put these in a newer sports car or even a classic. I mean, you can. Nothing's stopping you, but they're not safe. And here's the engine bay in this thing. So this thing's been running pretty good. No major issues. I still got to redo some of the lines for the brakes and the clutch, but yeah, I did a brake booster. I believe it's a 7-inch brake booster for the Wilwood 7/8 inch Master, and that's what I had to do to get the clutch to work. That was the toughest part of this swap. So I'll make another detailed video eventually of all the issues I had with my Clutch Master and trying to make the clutch work in this truck, in this configuration. It was not fun. But yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy the snow now. Probably take this thing out once we have a little more snow and go have some fun with it. But yeah, that was my video. And yeah, let me know if you guys need any, want any more detail of the shop and how I have things set up. Oh, I forgot to mention this thing. This is an exhaust. So this is a blower motor inside of a heating system for a house. And what I did is I had all this stuff laying around from construction. I blew some holes in it. And now whenever I'm painting or making a lot of dust or welding even, I'll turn this thing on. It's completely silent. Well, not completely, but it's very, very, very silent. It sucks in through here. And then the previous owner actually had a wood stove in here and he still had the vent right there. So what I did is I just put some flex line going up. So it does okay. It's not perfect. It's not like having a giant fan on the back wall for a paint booth, but it does okay. But I'll probably change that out at some point. It looks pretty cool though. Looks like a Canon. But yeah, let me know what else you guys want. I can make more videos. Thanks. Bye.